Check the time and adjust your dial. It's time for the GZ Chop Shop Podcast, the best podcast by gamers for gamers. Each week, we give you the rundown of all the happenings in the gaming world, news updates, reviews, and much more. We do all the research so you don't have to. And if you still want more after the show, we got you covered. Check out our website at thegzchopshop.com for all of our latest content. Now keep your ears locked because it's time for the GZ Chop Shop.
Yo, what is up, everybody? Welcome back to another week of the GZ Chop Shop. Kara's not with us this week. She is feeling under the weather, so here is hoping that she
got
feels
under the
better.
weather. She's the COVID kid of the podcast crew.
Yeah, so our thoughts and prayers going out to Kara that she recovers, bounces back quickly. Miss you, Kara. Hopefully you can rejoin us. But I want to kick off this week's episode with a little thought-provoking question. So I'm just going to get right into it.
Does service guarantee citizenship?
What if the internet died tomorrow? What would happen? Warners, you know where this question is coming from.
I do know where this question is coming from.
All the weebs, no, not all the weebs. All the basement dwellers will walk out and be like, "Where's the porn?"
There would be absolute chaos. I feel there would be chaos, at least for a couple weeks. I think you already saw my reply. I absolutely would love to see a solar flare wipe out our intranet structure and
will it also wipe out our power, though?
The power grid can be restored a lot quicker than the internet.
Yeah,
it can. There's cables that run under the ocean, cables and setups that connect all the continents. And not only would it cause chaos, you got to think about the status of the world right now and how much anger and you know, we're on the brink of war constantly with so many countries and other countries with each other. If there's no way to know what's going on, who's to say that that's not an opportunity for countries to start invading or attacking other countries?
Well, if it does cut out the internet and communication, how do they know? Like, was this a U.S. attack? Was this a Russian attack? Was this a Chinese attack? Well, fuck them. They're next door. I think they attacked us.
Yeah, I mean, EMP has nothing on wiping out the internet, in my opinion. You know, we can recover from an EMP to an extent, but if the internet was truly destroyed, we'd be lucky if we had global internet back within months. I mean, it would cost trillions of dollars to fix the internet on a global scale.
Just for the US alone, it would cost a projected $7 billion to get it back up. Now, for anyone who wants a little bit backstory on like, whoa, where is this coming from? That's probably not going to happen. It was an article that I happened to be reading about, and I just want to say beforehand, it's not a matter of if, it's more so a matter of when, because we do get occasional solar flares from the sun. A lot of them just kind of are like, oh, cool, you know, whatever. But there have been two main ones in recorded history that actually caused power issues. One was in 1859, the other one was in 1989. And both of those caused actual like power issues. And we're at a point now where we rely heavily on electricity, the internet. A lot of people don't know what to do with their day. Like, if they don't have their cell phone, they don't know what to do with themselves. If they don't have the internet, a lot of people make their living on the internet, they wouldn't know what to do with themselves. And it was pretty much a professor that was breaking it down. When I was reading the article, she was basically saying, and this is a quote from the article, and if you guys want this, it's actually posted in our Discord server under the science channel. So if you want to read it for yourself, you can go there and check it out. But she was saying, what really got me thinking about this is with the pandemic, we saw how unprepared the world was. There was no protocol to deal with it effectively. And it's the same with internet resilience. And this was an interview with Wired. So basically, this is kind of like, and it makes me think, and I started doing some digging, and there were, health experts that were also talking about like, if a big pandemic or something broke out, how unprepared we were. And for the most part, a lot of people, because I still strongly believe a lot of people will dismiss things that don't fit with their personal happy outlook on life. So a lot of it got put under the rug, like, oh, that's not going to happen in our lifetime. We don't need to worry about that. That's just the stuff that happens in the movies. And then boom, here we are. We're in COVID. We were totally unprepared because nobody wanted to accept that this could be a possibility. Everyone's saying that was in the past. We're more prepared now. The flu, that was in the past. We're more prepared now. Buy and play, that was in the past. We're more prepared now. We can handle anything. And then COVID hits and we're like, oh, we're not prepared. We can't handle everything.
Yeah, and it's almost like the feedback, the chaos that ensued was, which continues now, is almost causing, I would say, more damage than the virus itself. Now, it's not to downplay the people dying or being sick, but in its own right, the chaos that has ensued from that globally and definitely here in America is absolutely insane.
And this article came out a day ago, which means, there's people watching this. Then they're saying, like, it's not if, it's when. And I know, like I said, a lot of people probably don't realize the severity that this could cause. But can you imagine? Personally, I think it would just be utter total chaos if COVID isn't resolved by the time the next one hits. Now, if you do the math between 1859 and 1989, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's like 130 years. A lot of people think, oh, it'll not happen in a lifetime. We don't know when the sun will do it. None of us have control over the sun. The sun could decide tomorrow to have that solar flare. And they're saying, just a solar flare in general would fuck us over, especially because we've got like 30 to 50 miles of cable connecting continents with repeaters every, like, I want to say like 50 miles or something. I can't remember the exact thing.
If 60 to 90 miles.
Yeah. So a repeater going out in the middle would screw up everything. And they said it wouldn't be hours. It would be months before they could get that grid back up and running. So you're talking severe decline of outreach, total blackout. Now, national and regional internet, cool. But let's be honest, most people surfing the internet are sick of their own country. They don't want to be, getting informed. They want to see what's happening everywhere else around the world. So months of a total blackout.
Oh, you got to think too. Anything that's powerful enough to destroy the internet just on its own would absolutely. I mean, that involves the satellites too. The satellites are going to be the first to go.
Yeah.
So, you're not just looking at global internet power outage for months, maybe even more than a year. You're looking at complete disarray and chaos inside every single country. You're looking at the military having absolutely no radar, no means of communication. It would impact every aspect of the entire planet.
What would this do for flights? And I'm talking.
There's no way. There's absolutely no way you could fly. You have to have crashing down. You have to have the ability to have radar and communication, which is done with radio signals and satellites. So there's absolutely no way that it would happen outside of maybe smaller planes that go shorter distance that don't carry, large groups of passengers.
So travel would pretty much be a no-go because a lot of people today, and you know what? This brings back a topic we talked about months ago. We were joking about it, but now I'm thinking this is something where we probably should go back to teaching something like this in school, is how to read a paper map, because GPS gone.
Oh my God.
For the most purpose, useless.
Maybe we need the reset button.
I'm thinking, for personally, I'm like, hey.
Everyone just needs to go into timeout. What was it called? The Carrington event? Was it the one that was in
1859? Yeah, the Carrington
1851. Event. The one that burned and destroyed. What was it? The towers and the telegraph wires burst into flames. Auroras were seen all over the planet. So it's a scientific possibility, and it's happened at least twice before that we have knowledge of. I've read before that historically there's evidence that it's happened a few times over the past couple thousand years.
There's a theory saying that solar flare is what killed the dinosaurs and not an asteroid. The asteroid came after. And there's also another theory that a solar flare is what caused a reset of humans, where the humans that survive in caves and dwell in them were survived because a solar flare hit the Earth, resetting a lot, killing a lot of the local life on Earth. And the humans in the caves were the reason we're still alive today.
Okay, I love this, and I'm going to put my tinfoil hat on because I love anything to do with when science meets not just fiction. I don't want to call all this fiction, but when science meets maybe we could call it not just theories, but conspiracies, I guess you would call it. So when science meets possible conspiracies, and then the middle area. The solar flare thing with the dinosaurs and what you said about the human race, that's interesting. I'd love to read about that. But I'd still have to side with the evidence that shows that it was an asteroid and on top of climate change that wiped them out.
It is terrifying to think that the sun can have basically a pimple pop and fuck everything up.
That's basically what it is.
The last huge solar flare that missed us had the ability to do exactly what we have just talked about, but it missed us. It went in a different direction.
Mm-hmm. Do you guys remember,
it's coming down to chance.
You guys remember that show Discovery Channel had once where they talked about like severe natural disasters, fucking asteroid, and they had an episode on solar flares and how that it was like in the early 2000s, like 2005. Where they talked about if a solar flare of that magnitude that we're talking about right now hit Earth, people on life support would die. Planes would start falling down from the sky. It made it seem like just this alone would fuck the human race so much that we would revert back to building tribes and recreating human race.
We would. I strongly believe, due to the dependability of the internet today, how severely dependable it is. And I'm not even just talking like small time. I'm talking big time. Corporations, hospitals, transportation, businesses, everything was shut down.
How many people in these businesses still Google the simplest things?
There would be no Google. The one thing that could be no Google.
Like how to like tourniquet a wound? Google, and nobody knows how to do that. And it could be either a life-saving thing, something as simple as how to clean an infection. You know, it's something we should probably all know.
Have you guys ever seen the show? I think it was on NBC back several years ago. It was called Revolution. And in the show, I loved the first season. The second season was that, and then they got cut mostly because of the time change and less people watched it. And then they came out with a series of comic books, or I don't think they were comic books, like dark novels to finish it out. But basically, for unknown reasons at the time, the entire planet's every bit of technology, anything that used power or energy at all, went out. There was no power, there was no electricity, and it was gone. Within a year, the entire country, they focused on America. They didn't focus on the rest of the world. You had no idea what was going on with the rest of the world because they were cut off. Within a year, America was split into several countries that were at war with each other. And it was insane. It was, it's just a show, right? It's just like a worst case scenario, what if type of situation. But it was, to me, it was thought provoking because it's what Itachi mentioned. On a scientific level, to some extent, things can happen. An asteroid can hit us. Solar flares can wipe out all possible means of communication. A super volcano, although unlikely, could go off. These are very real scientific things that have happened and can happen, but if they were to happen, we're not prepared. And you guys know I'm a huge proponent of technology and science. I love it so much, and it's one of those things where I constantly wonder why we don't put more focus and preparation for these things. And there is funding. I know there's funding for asteroids for sure to try to monitor potential threats and what we might do. but I've never read any articles, at least reliable sources, and I can't stress enough, people, reliable sources. I know we're talking about borderline conspiracy situations here, but reliable sources that ever suggest that we actually have a plan in place to protect us. I mean, if you got an asteroid flying at us that's 6, 8, 10 miles long at millions of miles an hour, do you really think any nuclear weapons or anything on our planet could possibly deter that and shoot it into another direction?
I'm gonna give you several reasons why, if they have a plan, they're not going to tell the people, for one. But I'll tell you several reasons why we don't have a open plan in place that we, the common folk, are informed of, if there is one. And I strongly believe there is one, but it's going to be reserved for the wealthy. The most of wealthy are the ones who will be, well, they'll be fine. They're footing the bill for this XYZ plan. For the rest of us, they won't put it in place because we are pretty much keeping everything running, per se. If you told us tomorrow that, hey, this is a strong possibility, we may lose internet, X, Y, and Z, can you imagine all the hysteria that people who thrive on the internet, your social media icons, your celebrities, your, people who've got online businesses, they would have a meltdown and they would start making demands that just don't make sense.
Now, I'd have to disagree with you a little bit. I think it would come down to how the information was put out and the evidence behind the likelihood of it. Because if you remember, not even a few months ago, I think it was a couple months ago, we were warned about a solar flare that might knock out cellular connections for possibly several hours. And although it didn't happen, nobody cared. Nobody cared. Most comments I read about it online that anyone had to say about it was pretty dismissive.
Well, I mean, in that regard, yes, you're right. I guess you could say it'd be a 50-50, but as time got closer, for the example, we had warnings of COVID, same thing. Nobody cared. At this point, it probably wouldn't, I guess it wouldn't really matter how they put it out, but the majority of people, yeah, you're right, they probably wouldn't care, but there's still going to be that group of people who are going to be like, look, what do we do about this? How do we handle this? And the government is always going to be dodgy in their responses, in their answers. And as the time gets closer, because here's the thing, the government will come to you and be like, they know the keywords to keep people calm. They know how to make people not care, but then they can say, we told you. But if the government, for example, if they came and said, this is going to happen, prepare yourselves, the response would be different. But if they say, oh, the likelihood of certain keywords that people are very dismissive of, then they're just going to be dismissive. And that's what they want. They want you to be dismissive of it because then it won't cause panic. It won't cause people to have this uprising. And you already see, prime example. What was it? Was it Capitol Hill? When we had that big riot, it seemed like all democracy went out the window.
Oh, January 6th.
Yeah. That's
fucking... But then again, it took people days and probably months of planning it through the internet. So if they lose that, we expect that these people are competent enough to do in-person meetings and plan something that divisive, when for a fact we know that it probably took 7 people to create one competent person to lead this group. You assume there's going to be a few people that can lead, but to be honest, if the shit hits the fan, a lot of people are going to fall to whoever's brave enough to actually lead.
That's the thing. It's good. If we lost the internet, I would. I mean, like I said, I'm for a big reset button. I feel if anything, to a certain extent, it would level a playing field for a little bit. Not everybody on their high horse is going to stay on their high horse, and a lot of people who needed a chance to come up would probably have that chance. A lot of skill sets that are taken for granted or deemed old school would become invaluable then. You know,
how many people DoorDash and not cook that need to learn how to make a fire and learn to cook?
Bro, if someone told me right now, like, can I go outside and make a fire using modern day means? Yes. But if someone told me to go outside and make a fire through conventional means, through old school means, no help from any amount of automatic fire starters and stuff we have now, theoretically I know what to do. Have I ever personally done it? No. And people can laugh at me all they want, but how many motherfuckers hearing me now know how to go out and do it? You rub a little stick.
Yo,
yeah.
There's a lot of people don't know how to do a charcoal fire.
No.
Right, exactly. But if we had to start I wouldn't be able to do it. I know theoretically how to do it. I understand the concept behind it, but I've never personally gone out and started a fire without using any sort of, like I said, fire starters, charcoal, gasoline.
I think the only
you
fire that I did would probably with the battery and gum wrapping.
Oh, that's dangerous. But then again, it is fire we're talking about. So.
Did you just? I'm sorry. Did I miss something? Did you just mention using plastic to start a fire?
No. So you grab a battery, and then you know how there's like the small tin on gun wrapper.
Mm-hmm.
So you peel off the plastic, you cut the tin, and you put one end on the tin to one side of the battery, and the other on the other, and the middle will light up like hot enough to start a fire.
The only thing I can think of right now is it's been a while since I've seen, what's that anime where they get this is it called Stone
Dr. Stone?
Dr. Stone, yeah.
Dr.
It's always
Stone.
been a while since I've seen it. Dr. Stone. When boys making like the
How
most
many of
advanced
us are going to survive? How many of us are going to survive?
Because he's so smart.
Because we watched Surviving with Bear Grylls.
So yeah, some of us that watched anime, we actually might be okay.
I found a show that
20 years ago, before the power outage, there was an anime called Stonewall, and I just learned it from there. How you can put sodium bicarb and so together. Just going on. I don't know why in 20 years I'll sound that old, but
I did find a show where it was talking about the solar flare you guys are mentioning. It's called Perfect Disaster, and it's the second episode of the season, and it's called Solar Storm. And it takes place in New York. What would happen if a solar flare was enough to like knock down everything? What would happen in New York with certain people, and see the effects it could have. That was in 2006. We've known for a long time we be fucked.
We get warnings. I will say this. I feel, even though it's not probably every movie person's intent, I think because movies are meant for enjoyment and entertainment, even though some movies give warning signs of certain things, but they put it in an entertainment way, a lot of people, they don't take anything away from it. You know what I mean? Like, look how many world-ending movies came out that spoke about things that literally science has shown, yeah, these things are in motion.
I'm gonna tell you guys this: don't buy pallets of MREs thinking you'll be safe for the next 10 years. I know some of you motherfuckers are that dumb.
I got to give kudos to my grandfather. So my grandfather passed in 2016, but Mom and I have agreed that this man knew things ahead of his time, and he always made sure we were prepared. So anyone who knows that, where I'm at, I'm in Philly. We had major flooding. It was really bad flooding. It was so bad my ex messaged me to make sure I was still alive.
Oh, dude, I saw TikToks of flooding in Philadelphia, and I'm like, damn, Itachi lives there.
Yeah, it was bad. And it's very rare for us to have that kind of flooding. So that's how you knew it was bad. It was bad. Couple years before that, out of the blue, the rest of us thought, like, why? We live in Philly. This is not necessary. I shit you not. My grandfather bought life jackets.
Life jackets, like life
swimming,
jackets, like you put them on.
Navy buys these life jackets.
Okay.
These were certified life vests. And he just bought them for us and stashed them in the basement. He's like, no matter what you do not throw them away. Do not open them until absolutely necessary. We're like, we live in Philly. We don't get flooding here. He was like, no. Trust me. You'll be glad.
The man was already on board with climate change.
Aren't you guys near a coast? Oh, I don't know where Philadelphia is exactly, but aren't you guys near a coast?
We just have the Schuylkill River, and it like lightly floods. And that was like years. I lived here most of my life. Never flooding was an issue. Like everywhere around us, if you lived in the burbs and stuff, sure. But here, that was never a problem. So we just had life jackets.
Fuck off, dude. You're within like 50 miles of the ocean. That is all danger territory. Think about this.
But we've never had that.
We all know.
Literally, I kid you not, we've never had that.
We've all said this in California. If major flooding were to occur, Nevada would be the new wine county. That's an actual joke.
That was the worst in years.
Nobody's going to take climate change and the impact it has on our environment seriously until it's too late. And, a lot of scientists around the world, they already believe it's too late. Too much of our population is in denial. Whether we can argue it's man-made or not, we'll put that aside. Okay. The fact is climate change is happening, and people are more concerned about arguing over man-made versus not man-made versus the fact that it's happening anyways, regardless of the cause and how it is going to impact and what are we going to do about it. And we're doing nothing.
Does anybody ever just go
racism and gender arguments and all this other bullshit? We're trying to prioritize these problems and literally figure out how to help fix our planet. Because another thing,
I wouldn't even say that, man, dude.
He got his gas mask.
He is a smart man. This is a smart
Your grandfather
man.
passed in 2016. He had us with life jackets and gas masks.
I bet he was a great guy to talk to, just have conversations with.
If people have fucking ozone meeting, what do you call them? Climate meetings here in California. Nobody has gone, hey, yo, motherfuckers, is it Yellowstone? That's a volcano. All that is not just one mountaintop. It's a fucking volcano. Do you not understand that is all one volcano? Not many. One. How is that not fucking terrifying?
It's funny you mention that because I've had people, like I've been in conversations where we talk about national parks and vacations and stuff. And there's been a couple of times where I've said, I have no intention of going to Yellowstone Park and I'll never go. And they're like, why? It's so beautiful. I'm like, I will never in my life, even though the likelihood is very, very tiny. It's happened historically before, but
Woody Harrelson
right now
died.
It's very, very small chance. I will never on purpose go stand on a super volcano ever. I'm good.
It's a fucking volcano. No one goes about like, hey, yo, that's a fucking volcano. How does that? No one, like, everybody just looks at it. It's like, it's a fucking mountain. It's not going to blow up. The fact that it has a chance of going off and putting us in a severe winter. Itachi's prepared because he could put that gas mask on and be like, yeah, you guys breathing in this ash now, motherfuckers.
I'll be on my little boat with my little life vest, with my gas mask that my grandfather had already prepared for us, and ride this out.
Anybody remember the movie 2012 where the fucking super volcano Yellowstone exploded and killed Woody Harrelson?
Yep.
Yeah, fuck off. Fuck off. We're talking about natural disasters. The whole California can go under at any moment.
They won't let me tell you something. At least in the US, things will not be taken serious until California literally falls off the map. And if you watch most disaster movies, that is what fucking happens. It winds up separated, or it's completely, when they show like the post map, California is just gone. Because everyone knows it's either an earthquake away from falling off or a volcano away from becoming uninhabitable anymore. It's it's just a disaster waiting to happen. And like, you know, there's so much I feel we could have done about it, but instead we let the rich go, oh, well, this is prime land. People will pay to live here because it's sunny. And we can sell this.
Guess who's dying first, motherfuckers? Guess who's dying? Hey, yo, that beachfront property ain't looking so good now, huh?
Because I'm going to tell you right now, if you think those rich people that sold all that property and making all that money are living on those disaster places as their main house, you are sorely mistaken. That is their fucking summer house. They come visit and clean, you know, so it looks lived in. But if shit goes south, you find out their real house is somewhere up in Canada, up in the north. They most of them, they already know this. They just sell it to everyone else because everyone's like, hey, I live in this great place. And I mean, look at all the, you know, shit weather and what happens in Florida and, you know, all the earthquakes in Louisiana, which for the life of me, you would think they would have better plans because they get hit all the time.
What about all those
tornado
counties, tornado states? So it's like, hey, what do you have to warn us against tornadoes? This big fucking horn telling you to get the fuck out the way? That's the best they got.
Touching back on the solar flare, they said if it was to hit like now, we would only have 13 hours to prepare for that. 13
download all the porn
hours. Download all the That's what I'm saying. I feel like, I'm not saying everything we're focusing on is not of importance, but I feel like there are some issues we really like, right? Like, I did not, you know, go deviate.
Careful what you say,
from our usual Jeezy banter, but I just feel like things like this that are outside of human control should be taken seriously. It's almost like space is like, oh, you think I'm a joke? Okay, I got you.
There's a reason no one can hear you scream in space.
Which makes me wonder if the satellites go dead because they're pretty much run on internet.
What about the people in the International Space Station? Like, what would happen to them?
Are they just going to fall out of the sky? Are they just going to
do that? They're going to die somehow. Something's going to happen.
Like, what's going to happen with them? Like, I need to know. Because this is, we got billions of dollars floating above our heads, and I want to know if my tax dollars are going to come raining back down on my head. I want my money back, but not in that fashion. So I need to know. Like,
is that why Elon is such in a big hurry to get people into Mars?
Bro, that's probably why. And he's like, maybe this is his subtle hint. Like, hey, Earth is going to shit.
What would the preparations be for something like that? Like a solar flare hitting Earth, you know, no internet, but power will be back on within a few days. So, you know, you probably just have to survive on.
It wouldn't. They're already saying flat out, it would not be days. It would take more than months to fix that.
So to get the power back in months to survive, what would have to happen? Like, what would people need to do? First thing is go find some farmers and make friends with them and help them handle their crops.
Well, definitely, no, but seriously, learning how to grow your own food would definitely be a critical skill. Backup generators, keeping a supply of backup generators so you can keep your own house powered. Learning how to work with gas. You know, a lot of people find gas stoves
and we're not talking about farting.
Okay, not methane gas. That's no. But you know how to work with gas or how to start, you know, cooking with. I mean, even if you don't know how to start a fire, if you could get charcoal, learn how to start charcoal fire, get some lighter fluid. That's not automated.
Like chemistry class in high school failed us because they could have easily taught us how to make our own propane gas, how to make our own gasoline, how to make our own.
Then you'd have a lot of kids running around starting fires, though. So
you know, for now on, when someone asks me, like my hobbies and what I do, I'm not gonna say I like to work out. I'm gonna say I train. And they're like, what do you mean train? And I'm just gonna look at them like this. I'm gonna go, I train.
Is working out really a hobby?
And it's not, but training. I train. Like
training isn't a hobby either.
And I'm gonna go for everything.
For everything. Well, training could be a hobby depending on what you're training for.
What are you training for? The end. I'm training for survival.
Training for the end. But you know, like I said, ever since
Warner's here trains for the end, everybody else trains to forget about her.
Wow. But yeah, ever since we looked back and saw this stuff my grandfather had been prepping for and left for us, I'm like, you know what? I'm not sleeping on any minor quote unquote news. If I see it pop up, I'm gonna take it seriously, because you never fucking know. And I think for some reason, subconsciously as humans, we don't like anything that conflicts with our personal interests and our personal way and outlook of life. And that's just all humans in general. If it doesn't fit our personal narrative that we see for ourselves and our tomorrow, we want to be dismissive of it. Keep that bad energy over there. It's not likely going to happen. It's a maybe. Ugh. And then when the shit happens, we all go, where was the info? Why didn't we know?
And when anything catastrophic happens in the world, we spend more time trying to place blame instead of collectively trying to figure this problem out.
And that's what's going to keep us. That's probably what they're considering when they say how long it's going to take. We're not going to come together to just say, okay, the shit's happened, let's fix it, because we're not preparing for it now. It's like Yuli said, we'll know it's a solar flare, but just government instinct alone is going to go, is this an attack? And then someone in some position of power is going to instigate. Because just look at how petty, just be honest, let's look at how petty we are about wearing masks in a pandemic that is still going strong. All you need is one person to say, the solar flare was not a real thing. This is an attack on our country.
It's not constitutional. Yeah. Solar flares can't hit us. It's against our rights.
Yeah. And then all it takes is that one person to convince the feeble-minded.
How dare that sun get so offended?
Flare flicked upon our constitutional.
So offended by that solar flare. And nature's like, everyone's so offended. Nature's like, I'll show you offended. I'm offended, motherfucker.
You know, it just came to me how I could foresee the country becoming divided into factions. You would have the scientific who were like, this is what happened. This is what we need to do. They would come together. Then you would have the pure government. No, this is an attack on our soil. We need to find out who's responsible, who's with me. And then that would be the patriarch. And then you would have the religious zealots who'd be like, it is the wrath of the Almighty. And then they would get their people together and start trying to, create cults. That's three factions right there.
I'd be more afraid of the zealots than anything.
They would be the strongest, in my personal opinion. They wouldn't need the military power. They would just need to be persuasive.
The thing is, people with strong beliefs are deadlier than people with faulty beliefs.
Yeah.
Because they believe in something so strong. Like we've seen serial killers who believed in their beliefs so much that they've done heinous shit.
Yeah. And believe they're doing the work of the... Yeah.
And people are probably going to shit on me. Like, why are you comparing serial killers with these religious people? It's like... It's the same train of thought, but in a different area.
That comes to a sort of philosophical thought process that something we talked about. I remember talking about in psychology in college, and I really loved the conversation, even though most people were teens to early 20s and had garbage ass thoughts on it. It was ridiculous. Anyways, the idea was coming down to what's right and wrong versus what's best for humanity. And it's hard to say because people's idea of right and wrong influence what's best for humanity. And I remember there were so many different opinions. There was, religion, morality coming from religion versus right or wrong. We'd have to turn to, religion. There was, we don't need religion. The greatest minds in the world could come together to decide what's the best for humanity. Then there was, what about everyone's individual rights? Kind of like something that we're dealing with now with abortion and the COVID vaccine. So many different things. We are our own worst enemy. We're not capable, unfortunately, of considering what's best for humanity and humanity's future. We're more concerned collectively about ourselves and as individuals. And
we already have the proof of great minds coming together, deeming what's best. and seeing how that turns out, because a prime example is the voting suppression in Texas. That's a quote unquote great mind who's voted into a position of power that is so determining what is the best.
Is it a great mind or someone that's very charismatic? They're two different things.
Well, that's why I says that, you know, religious zealots would reign supreme, because if you give the illusion of power and confidence, people flock to that charisma.
You know who we should put into power to like get shit done? Gay guys that turn straight guys. Because if you're able to convince a straight guy to suck your dick,
what in the hell is wrong with you? I'm going to stop you right there. I'm going to...
Hold up. If these gay guys can like convince a straight dude to suck a dick, if they can convince a straight dude to suck a dick, how much you want to bet they can convince people to be like, all right, this is bullshit. This abortion law, this whole law is bullshit. Let's change it. Like.
We're not even making sense anymore.
Tune in for GZ After Dark coming up next.
It just popped in my head like that. There's some people with convincing powers.
We can have a whole session of on today's episode of what pops in Yuli's head.
You know what? Here's what I'm gonna say. You know what needs to be in a position of power? First of all, not humans. Just let the alien race come over.
Oh, I was gonna say, fuck humans. Reset. Let the dogs rule the world. You know,
dude, you find out how dogs really feel about us.
Hey, hold up. The dogs in Rick and Morty, that dog world. Look, Google, I'm not fucking talking to you. The dogs in Rick and Morty with the Snowball. God damn it, Google. With Snowball, when he's like, that world that they created looked peaceful as fuck when they took over humans and humans were the pets. Like that looked more.
I'm sorry,
more
Yuli, do you have a tractor running in the background?
Probably. Do you guys hear it?
I don't hear anything. That's a weird interjection.
I know. Like, do you have a tractor running? I'm like, world. What tractor? Like, there's a bunch of cars revving their motors right now, but not a tractor.
All right. Well, that's definitely something we could go into on the After Dark episode.
We've already crossed over into a G. You started this.
Oh, I did. I definitely did. You know,
what
sometimes
topics? What topics?
You know what? Let's just take a break from our sponsor, Patreon people. You guys are our sponsors, our favorite people in the world. Thank you for supporting us. And, you know, our game development wouldn't be here without you guys. Wouldn't be here without Itachi either. So let's all thank Itachi. Give him a golfer's clap. You know, those silent claps.
No, absolutely. And me and Yuli and Kara would not be here if it wasn't for Itachi. This podcast has been a lot of fun. We've watched it have ups and downs and slow growth. We've had some spurts here and there with some affiliations and sponsors. So all of you guys out there listening who enjoy our show, please check out our Patreon for our other podcasts. Keep up with our game development and see all the other things that we have going on. We really appreciate you guys.
Which, by the way, this podcast today is sponsored by Gamma Games. Make sure you go check out our merchandise shop, thegzshop.com, sponsored by yours truly. So make sure, go check it out. Thank you, sponsor. You're welcome. So, moving on before we go down the political and human psychology rabbit hole further, touch on a little bit of our favorite platform, Twitch. Within this last week,
man,
they had two big streamers leave their platform.
Real recap. 2 weeks ago, we talked about the boycott. Let's catch up. Did that shit do anything? Were we right that it did almost nothing?
It made a dip, but it didn't do anything. They made that revenue back the very next day.
What was Twitch's response to that?
None. Oh yeah, they had a response.
But
they moved the September to the next day instead of the first day of September, they're like, you know what? September won't start September 1st when the boycott will happen. It's going to happen April 2nd. Not April 2nd. September 2nd. I'm fucking laughing at that. Like, Twitch, what the fuck?
And then September
turned into September.
Fuck you.
Yeah, the email, like I got the email, I sent it to the guys to check their emails and read it, and I could put it down to a few words because the email was about the hate rates. It literally said, "Fuck you, not our problem."
It was that general email they send out whenever they have a big problem that they don't want to address, but they know they have to address. So they have to say they're doing something about it, but they give it this, it's going to take a very long time for us to solve it. So, oh, well.
But we do have certain things built in our program that help you during the time right now, which means everything we've tried with these programs you set up for us didn't fucking work.
I'm just going to declare now.
We're asking you to. That's just so stupid.
Twitch has 5 years left.
All I'm saying is, Elon Musk, if you start Tesla streaming service right now, you would fucking throw you would whip the fattest dick in front of Jeff Bezos right now.
Jeff Bezos will abandon Twitch before trying to improve it. The rich stay rich because they spend as little money as possible to make them the most money. Twitch is going to cost him more money than he's willing to spend. Once he sees that, he's going to cut him off. That Amazon money, gone. They lose that, the streamers are going to leave. The streamers leave, they take their viewers with them. The viewer leaves, Twitch has nothing. The people who try to make it on Twitch will stick around. You know, the loyal user base and the loyal viewer base that's just like the interface better, but they'll suffer and it'll get worse and worse and worse and will not get better. Because right now, if you look at a graph, YouTube and Twitch are at an intersecting point. The thing is, overall, Twitch is actually on a decline while YouTube is on an incline, because the things that Twitch does, YouTube can more easily integrate into their platform, which they're doing.
We've talked about this before, and for anyone tuning into this episode and you haven't heard some of our older podcasts, I say this humbly. We don't do this on purpose. It really just so happens to be the case. We talk about these things. Unfortunately, a lot of times we end up being completely right. And then, here we are. And Itachi, I know we've mentioned before, we both agreed that YouTube, although YouTube has its things about YouTube we don't like, and they do make changes sometimes, they're consistent in their approach for the most part, much more consistent than Twitch is. YouTube is, in my opinion, such a more diverse and efficient platform because it's not just streaming. It's pretty much anything, as long as you follow their guidelines, anything. And when you do something that breaks those guidelines, unlike Twitch, they come at everybody equally. Yep. There is no pass for individuals at all. Yep. And I'll take the cons of YouTube over
the growing cons of Twitch,
over the issues with Twitch and them not coming to everybody equally.
And I feel with YouTube, it's yes, it's still difficult to grow. However, it is more in your control than with Twitch, and it's a more meaningful growth. Because with YouTube, because they have VODs, people can still enjoy your content. Even if you didn't post for a month, 2 months, maybe you needed a long break, you could still grow your user base on everything you've done before, where Twitch is like, hey, your stuff is up for 90 days and then it's out of here. So if you're not streaming, you ain't growing. And it's hard for people to find you on a platform like Twitch because they, for some reason, refuse to make an algorithm that levels the playing field. It's not that they can't. I just feel they refuse to because they would probably make more partners than they're willing to pay for, because there's so many good streamers out there that they just get buried because there's no way to find them. Nobody scrolls more than 3 times on average. If you have less than a certain number of viewers on your channel, people think you're not interesting, which may not be the case. With
and
YouTube,
no one
for the
supports
most
each
part,
other.
none of that matters. People see a video, they like your thumbnail, they click it. Even if they don't leave you a like, the view number goes up because people are curious. They click it, your number goes up, 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 up. As long as you don't have anything copyrighted in it, you could turn it into a monetization. Your growth is still within your hands on YouTube. And like Warner's was saying, when you break the guidelines, it doesn't matter who you are, they will deal with it. It's fair. So with Twitch, it's become blatantly obvious that it's favoritism. There's a lot of favoritism. There's a lot of racism. There's a lot of all the things that should not be on such a huge platform. And it's coming to a head. And Twitch is on a decline. The only thing that's keeping them alive is that these other smaller streaming platforms that want to be known and recognized aren't actually doing anything to get themselves out there. They are trying to copy and paste the Twitch formula, which is not a great idea, because then you're just going to create Twitch again with a new name. Instead of doing something original and breaking away, like the video I sent you guys by Harris Heller, he brought up some very good points. It's like a lot of them say, built by gamers for gamers. We're all about community, blah, blah, blah. The things that we want to hear or wanted to hear like 5 years ago. Nobody cares about that now. What the streamers want is, how are people going to find me? How am I going to get famous? How am I going to get 10 viewers in here?
Instagram. Well, we have the tools. We have Instagram, TikTok, all that shit. Like, these questions are already there.
Let's be honest, even with our own business, Instagram is super saturated. How do you grow on Instagram? So let's have a little experiment right here. Let's say you're starting fresh, and I come to you and I say, how do you grow on
You're going to be
Instagram?
against this when I say this. You're going to be against this when I say this. But the best way anyone can grow, and we've seen it happen, is when you introduce boobs. And I'm not saying full on nudity. I'm saying some image of a hot girl on your thumbnail.
Well, and
some reason people automatically click on it. For
every business. So,
if like throwing an anime girl with some tiggle bitties, you'll grow. But is it the audience you want? That's why a lot of these VTubers grow. Like they're models people like. And if you go down the rabbit hole, you see how people really fucking like them.
And see, he's not wrong. He's right. I disagree with it. I disagree with it on a personal principle level, because I will always say I hate, as a creator, as a legitimate content creator, and I mean male, female, across the board. If you put my definition of work into content creating will vary, because a lot of them will argue, well, it's work. I work for the body. And I'm like, okay, I guess, just like good and bad, everyone's definition of work is different. I don't consider what they do content creating, and you guys know to whom I'm referring. I'm not talking like porn stars. I give kudos to porn stars. You know why? Because they owned up to their shit. I'm a porn star. I make porn star money. Fight me. Hey.
I'm gonna say this.
I agree. I'm talking about the quote unquote content creators that want porn star money.
Heated discussions about it,
but don't want to be called a porn star. All right,
that's so stupid.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, hold up. I agree with you on this. That is so stupid. Like, you take dicks for money and record it and post it. What do you want me to call you? I could call you a sex worker if that's better.
Some girls like, I want to call. Hey, Daddy. No, call me Big Papa.
Big Papa.
Call me Big Papa.
Jesus Christ!
You will call me the Shaft.
That's Itachi's nickname. I'm
gonna start fucking with people because I hate online dating so much that every date I go on, I I'm gonna start doing some weird shit. Like I'm gonna show up in an eye patch, and I'm not gonna say anything.
I start every
Like,
conversation. The thing I learned is I start every conversation with an anime GIF, and if she doesn't respond with another anime GIF, I know she's not the one I want to date, and move on.
I told someone one time that messaged me. I said, "Look, I just want to get to the point here. Let's go out, get shit faced, eat a bunch of sushi, and just see what happens."
And fuck.
I didn't care. And it's not because, like, don't get me wrong. I'm not looking like I'm just trying to, like, get laid or something. I just don't care anymore because obviously what comes out of my mouth, anything that's sincere doesn't matter. Nobody cares.
Yeah.
No one, I'm just like, well, fuck it. I don't care anymore. I'm at least going to get material out of this.
At least have some kind of fun, right?
And then just like Yuli said, if someone runs with it, they're for me.
Yeah, that's a fair outlook.
Like, don't respond to a message with, like, basic shit like hey or whatever, because then you're just gonna run into thousands of random girls that probably won't like you because of certain things. Put something out there that you really enjoy, and if she vibes with you with that really enjoyment thing, there's a high likelihood that there might be a second date, there might not be, but at least you guys will vibe at something. And drinking together and having just
start writing their profiles the way the females do. Put that shit like a fucking resume.
I'm just gonna get a shirt that says vibe.
Vibe. No, you know what? I'm gonna buy Warner's a shirt that just says horny. We're just gonna buy you a shirt that says horny.
I just want to vibe.
Make it like scientific.
What does that mean?
How smart
I just
people
want
are.
to vibe.
Like draw a horn and then put +E.
You know what's funny? Sometimes I don't want like an actual date with a girl. Like sometimes I'll be like, hey, do you just come over? I order DoorDash and watch a little bit of anime with me, because that is a better use of my time with someone than going out to dinner.
Can we make a shirt
just
for
sitting
our
there
merchandise
awkward.
shop? Can we make a shirt in our merchandise shop that says relationship status? Underneath it says E for everyone.
I'm rated E for everyone.
No. We should have two. One that says rated E for everyone, and one that says relationship status, the Shaft.
Jesus, Yuli.
I kind of like the horn +E one now.
Horn plus E.
Give me an idea. Horn +E. Oh yeah.
By the time you guys listen to this, it's already a shirt and trademark, so fuck off.
Yeah, I was just thinking. I was like, did we try to steal ideas? It was here. GZ Chop Shop. Trademark.
Yeah.
By Game of Games.
Recorded. Patent right here.
You done. That's why we record these and release them. That's why we record these a few days ahead, because we know we come up with our best shit here, and we're going to patent it the night of, so you guys already fucked up.
You already fucked up. Fucked up, A-Rod. Nice try.
You know what? I'm going to make a profile. now. I'm just going to change my profile online. That's going nowhere, by the way. I'm just going to change it. Rated E for everyone. That's just what I'm going to put it.
You don't want to put that
how they want.
You don't want to put that.
I was just thinking that. You and I were on the same wavelength, I think, for that reason.
Yo, hold on.
I know what you're thinking. I don't care.
Warner,
I'm just going to put it and see what happens.
Hold on. No offense to anybody, but what if you get like a warlock of a fucking chick come at you?
You know what? I wouldn't believe the shit I get. Like, you wouldn't believe the type of people online. Like, you see people, you swipe left, right, whatever, you see the profiles, but the type of people that try to message you most of the time aren't even close to the type of people that you think would want to speak to you, and it really lowers someone's self-esteem.
Here's my question.
So fucked up.
Here's my question, and I know they exist because I've seen them. Usually, I guess maybe because they're all spoken for. Where are the hot...
The word them is all inclusive. Do not disregard.
Where are all the hot anime gaming chicks? I mean, the ones that are legitimate.
They're fucking taken. I literally can tell you this.
Famous.
They're taken.
It ain't gonna lower your standards, bro. Lower your standards.
But they exist.
They're taken.
They're famous.
Exist. No, they're taken. Warners. There's a lot of them, but they're taken because
and the guy they're with, like, on average, probably plays like one game, and it's usually Call of Duty.
Why is that?
When someone tells me they're a gamer and the only games that they play is Call of Duty and Apex, you're not a gamer.
You're not a gamer.
You're not a gamer.
You just
You're
a game enthusiast.
And I said it. You heard it right now, right here from Warner's.
1v1 me, bro.
Those are the only, 1v1 me, bro. Bitch, unless you've been playing Sega, unless you've been playing since you were 5, 6, 7 years old, and you grew up on Sega, or maybe, you're from an earlier or later generation, or newer generation. Maybe you grew up on the N64 or whatever the case. If you're not playing more than 2 games, and those 2 games are Call of Duty and Apex, get the fuck out of here. You're not a gamer. You play a couple of games sometimes, but you're not a gamer.
What's worse is when you get the people like, I'm a gamer. Oh yeah, what game do you play? Clash of Clans.
There are 2 types of people that immediately lose gaming status in my eyes, and I drop them from the category of gamer to peasant. And if they start talking, I hit them with the silence, peasant.
Yo,
do not
I play
speak
Call of Duty
in my presence.
Call of Duty and Apex, fucking simp.
My fucking lock screen wallpaper is Metroid Dread.
And that's us. I play Call of Duty and Apex, but I don't only play those 2 games for the past 5 or few years. Apex has been around a little.
Also,
like,
if
three,
you
4
ever
years?
at some point say 1v1 me, bruh, I demote you. I automatically demote you.
You know what's embarrassing is when you lose in that 1v1 match, and the game the guy was playing before that was Sonic the Hedgehog. I don't get on COD very much, but when I do, you get wrecked when you tell me 1v1 me, bro.
1v1 me, bruh.
1v1 snipers only.
1v1 me,
All
bruh,
right.
in a sniper battle. I don't know if you guys were there. I was streaming, and I thought I could tell he thought he was going to wipe me out. And then he actually had to get real sweaty. Now, mind you, I'm streaming and I'm still interacting with my viewership. All he has to do is play the game.
This is someone, a random person who got mad at you, I'm assuming, during gameplay, and he said 1v1 me?
I think he was just looking for streamers to, like, I think he was one of those people trying to just, like, compile that he was, like, a god in COD. So he was going to find random streamers to wreck. And I wound up being more competition for him than I think he bargained for. And my favorite guns, the map, the rules, he picked everything.
He got sharked.
And then
my favorite thing is when you 1v1 them and then halfway through the match they quit. They just leave.
Oof.
That's a better feeling than winning.
That is better than winning because you're like, yeah, bitch, I made you leave.
I've made people rage quit on Apex. That does make me feel really good. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, didn't you make Kara rage quit on Apex?
No, I don't think Kara's ever rage quit Apex.
She's rage quit games.
Everybody
I've
at
seen
some
her
point has rage quit a game.
Dark Souls.
I still. That's the only game. That is 100% the only game I've ever rage quit more times than any other game combined and still played it through and eventually finished it.
How many years did it take you?
Took me several months. Now, granted, it wasn't several months of me playing, 5-6 hours a day.
Okay, 11 months, 29 days. Got it.
But
it took you guys months. It took me 2 years.
I remember telling you guys how I rage quit Hunt Showdown back almost a year ago. Was it a year? It was probably about 8 months ago. I rage quit that game.
You rage quit when it came out.
I rage quit that game so hard that I deleted it from my library. I deleted it from my computer, and I've never ever re-downloaded it.
Life.
I deleted it from my life. I got so mad. I was, at the time I was 32. I was 32 years old, and I remember I got so mad. I hadn't done this in so long. I hit my desk, bro. I was like, fuck.
That's when you know.
It's just me just going off to myself in my room. Motherfucker, god damn it, this is bullshit. And I just fucking immediately deleted that game from my life.
You know what game is fun, but it sucks when you die? Escape from Tarkov.
Ooh, that is an unforgiving game.
That is an unforgiving fucking
my
game.
My brother is amazing at that game, and I'm content just watching him play on stream because I'm like, when people are good at games, maybe it's just me. When you see people that are good at games, does it kind of make you feel like I could play this? I would. Sometimes it does that to me. Like if it looks like I watch someone play it enough, I'm like, I get curious.
If you watch someone play MK11 and fucking no hit hard levels, and you're just like, all right, cool, and I'm like, no, I can't do that. I'm gonna get my ass handed to me. I don't go do that. I go, I'm perfectly fine watching you struggle through it. I'm gonna lose. Put that shit on easy and unlimited special ability. Fuck off.
Well, video games are meant for originally were meant for your personal enjoyment. Now they're meant for other people to put you through suffering for their enjoyment.
No, man, I remember
this is such a twisted
fun
world.
What's fun is playing with Yuli and Ladybird, which I haven't played with Ladybird in a while, but nobody raged or talked shit back as a female gamer back to the other team as well as Ladybird does. And it's one of the funny, like she should make fucking TikTok clips of that shit. It is so damn funny.
That shit would do so well.
It's gotten to the point where it was so stressful for her. She doesn't play multiplayer anymore. It's just Warzone for her.
Man.
Like it really fucked her days up when she got shit on every fucking game.
That's why I mute.
And it shouldn't be like that. You know, it really shouldn't be like that. But here we are. What are we going to do about it? You know,
what she does now is if someone starts talking shit, she'll mute them and start talking with their friends. Like she's tired of dealing with that shit.
I usually mute when I play any PvP game. I usually mute the other team immediately.
I don't. I love listening to them talk shit because
just because I don't want to hear it. You know, I'm playing on my day off.
I'm the type of person.
Fun.
I'm the type of person that I'll hear it.
We know
and
what
I'll
type
read
of person you are.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna. Oh my god, it was.
I've seen Yuli get attacked verbally from the other team. And then Yuli says a bunch of stuff, and then they quit. I have seen this firsthand. It is a superpower this man has to make the people talking shit.
It's because they think they're hurting me, when in reality, it's like, motherfucker, I talk worse to myself. If you can't fuck me over by myself, you can't I'll say worse shit to you. I will shit you not. My friend Kitty can confirm this. I've had boyfriends come after me after I shit talk their girlfriends.
I'm sure it's happened, but what I have never seen is I've yet to see is somebody coming at Yuli while he's streaming.
Why is that?
That's a good point.
When I stream, it's always peaceful and okay, but the moment I click on stream, yeah,
like I'm just waiting for someone to come into Yuli's stream one day, just talking mad shit.
I will say what probably
I want to know how he would do it.
Maybe if he kept doing it, he would have had it. But I think what saves Yuli right now is the fact he's a VTuber. A lot of people want your real reaction because they want to clip it. It's a lot harder to antagonize.
But also, I don't react with antagonization. Can't say the word, but with people fucking with me, like I don't react the way they want me to react because I know in my head as soon as they start talking shit to me, it's like they want a reaction out of me. Let's have fun with it. That's why I turn on the switch where it's like, all right, well, they're shit talking. I'm gonna have fun with it. Like one time, some dude came at me. Call of Duty. Some dude came at me talking about my mom, and I immediately went to, "Oh yeah, well I fuck your dad." She immediately shut the fuck up, and I'm like, "Yeah, you can't do nothing about that." Yeah, don't ask your mom how I'm doing. Ask your dad how I'm doing.
He can't say anything to you because then he would be insulting his dad too. It's like, yeah, call me what you think you want to call me, but then you're calling your dad that. So
I like it when you call me Big Papa.
It's like, yeah, you like sucking dick. I'm like, no, but your dad does, and he's good at it.
Jesus Christ, Yuli.
I was the pitcher. He was the catcher.
Oh my god!
And yeah, that's how we.
I wonder how many people are going to listen to this and they come into my streams and try to get me irritated. And like they're going to try their hardest. I'm like,
I'm just going to make a fake account. And come at Yuli one day. I'll make a fake account, come at Yuli one day.
Just to see what he says and be like, and then just be like, this is good material. This is good.
Is it? He's not reacting to it. He's not doing anything. Yo, daddy.
Then I'll get on the podcast a couple weeks later and I'll start talking about this scenario I saw, and Yuli's slowly going to be like, wait a second. Wait a fucking second.
No, you know what the actual thing is going to happen is like, I tried to troll this guy once. It fucking failed because this motherfucker wouldn't give me any reaction. I'm like, this motherfucker was trying to get at me.
Yeah, honestly, it'd probably be his viewers that would flip out.
Yeah. My viewers would probably...
His viewers would come at me.
I have loyal friends that watch me.
Make me cry. I'm sorry.
Hey, one of my loyal friends is Ladybird.
Yep.
She'll come at you.
I give more reaction to people that actually know me and come back than people who like try to troll me the first time around.
Actually, I don't know why Itachi hasn't cut me off because I'm always trolling him.
I'll never forget when I was poking fun at Kara in her stream, and these people know me. They know me, they know Kara, but they are so loyal. I got called out during the stream, and then I got banned for like 10 minutes. And I think Yuli was there for that.
I was there. I remember. It was J-Bell is the one that banned you. It was J-Bell who banned you.
I was like, I was kidding.
Oh.
I don't remember what I said. Like, I know it wasn't anything derogatory or anything like that, but I was just poking fun at Kara.
They were just tired of your shit and just banned you for the meantime.
Bro. I didn't even see it coming. Like, I was just joking.
What's fucked up?
They know me.
Warners, you talk shit, and for some reason you get banned. I talk shit, for some reason I get VIP.
I've seen that. I've seen that happen. And it's like, Yuli doesn't get botted. He doesn't get banned. Because even in my stream, Warner, she'll say something. It'll purge you. Yuli comes in and nothing happens. Yuli's got some...
Is it my face? Like, what is it? What is it?
No, the thing is, Warner's, you're a likable person that doesn't know how to be an asshole. I'm just a likable asshole.
That doesn't make any sense to me.
You're like...
I'm the person... Like, the best way my friend put it, Moon...
of the group.
My friend Moon, he put it the best way. We all know Yuli is the type of person that if he doesn't cuss you out, you're not his friend.
I gotta say, Yuli's taken a lot of getting used to. Yuli is like a relationship. Yuli is like a marriage that you have to work on. If you choose, you have to choose love and hard work, or you will just divorce this motherfucker and be done with it.
There's this time that these guys held me in a group and told me I got to slow down the cussing. And the next day on Discord, I put that video of the Rick and Morty in the prison in the courthouse meme. And I'm like, that's Itachi telling me to not cuss.
And for the audience that is, currently listening to our recent podcast, believe it or not, Yuli has toned it down a lot. A lot.
Don't go back. Don't go back and listen.
What? How? This is toning it. Yeah, it's Tony. This is toning it down.
Don't go back and listen. I've said some shit.
We knew Yuli couldn't be Yuli if we were just like, you can't do it at all. So in there had to be compromise.
We had to create a constitution of Gamma Games with some amendments here and there, and we all signed it, and we have it framed in a museum, and we have to follow them Yuli, we have to follow that.
You fuckers have to follow it.
We might make more amendments, but for now, we have to follow the Constitution of Gamma Games.
Part of the reason we have the After Dark is so like that once a month Yuli can just, get
also,
it all
it's for
out.
you, Itachi. You have to let it loose because
there's a lot of
I
shit
may
I
be
gotta let
bottled up. Itachi is like, you know that bottle that when you fill it with gas, it's like ready to explode. That's Itachi.
I was talking with Bird yesterday, and I forget what the topic was, and it had something to do with like strippers or something.
God bless them.
And all I said was, "Oh, bro," and he was like, "No, that wasn't an open invite to vent." I was like, "What are you talking about?" All I said was, "Oh, bro." He was like, "I know how you feel about it." I was like, I wasn't gonna say anything. It's not that time yet.
I always bring it up. I always bring it up in our group chats just to get Itachi riled up because it's always fun to see him go hard on it.
I would love to do a podcast, an After Dark episode with Burn and Yuli.
Hey, yo, I'll let Bird is the person that will be like, say the word, say the words, say the things. Say
Burn
it,
would
and
egg it
I
on
will say
because
it.
Yuli would be like, I don't know if I should, and Burn would go, no, please, say it.
Say it.
I would like to come up with some very controversial topics, as controversial as possible regarding anything, gaming, comics, politics. I don't
Texas.
care. And I love
Texas.
You just
Texas.
described Texas.
Yeah, and basically we'll just talk about Texas, and we'll talk about my state.
Hold up. Did you guys hear that China banned gaming or limited it to 3 hours a week?
Yeah, they did. It's a real thing. I didn't believe it.
They did what?
They limited gaming for people under a certain age to 3 hours a week.
I'd like to know how they're monitoring this.
Internet.
It's China. They know how.
Like if you're on the internet using X IP address going through this channel.
So
to
don't forget
game.
what their main market is. It's not consoles. It's PC. That's easy.
Well, yeah.
Most of their games are online games anyway.
Something else has been on my mind, and I can't stop thinking about it. You know,
That
6
fat
inches.
ass.
Our listeners know that we're mainly a gaming, anime. Our topics mainly consist of gaming, anime, market, technology, those sort of things. And the fact that Itachi came in hot today over solar flares destroying the planet has me wondering how bothered was he about this scenario since he read it earlier today to come in with that topic immediately.
Watch that show, Perfect Disaster, the solar storm episode, and let me know what you think about it.
Like, guys, we're fucked.
So I'm gonna tell you why I was coming in. I'm gonna tell you why, because
we're so fucked. Thank God we have life vests.
Guys, I just wanted to report to you today. There's a possibility of a solar flare coming in, wiping out the internet. The government doesn't have a plan in place for all of these situations. If you make less than $250,000 a year, I just want you to know we're fucked.
Yeah, we're fucked.
But no, it bothered me in a more humorous way because personally, I had a Joker moment where I just wanted to see the world burn. And I'm like, yo, I would love for this solar flare to hit and just fuck up the internet. The only thing it wouldn't fuck up is credit card companies because they keep that shit on like some super secret server buried probably at the center of the earth. But if it's strong enough, maybe it'd fuck that shit up because there's a positive to this. It could reset everyone's debt system. Granted, it might reset a lot of people's bank accounts. Your Swiss bank account. Yeah. You might want to think about that one. But it could reset the debt system, which could reset the economy, which could reset how we deal in transactions. There's a lot of things that could happen. But me personally, I just want to see on the I just wanted to see how this disaster would play out with the way COVID is on top of no internet. How resilient is the human species? What would we come up with to deal with this? Everybody was already stir crazy being told to stay indoors, but they had internet and they were already losing their minds. Now, with the constant upticks of COVID and the constant mutations, if they get told to stay indoors and don't have internet, are we like, what would happen? And it just really made me think, because I'm like, here's a chance to warn people. Hey, get out of your perfect picture life for a minute and look at what the real shit is happening. And I think that's also part of the frustration. Everyone is so stuck in their own picture perfect world that they just don't realize real shit is happening around them. They much rather watch reality shows about someone else's life and talk about that, which, don't get me started on that. That's another topic that I get fired up over. But there's like real shit that, you know, that's happening, not a matter of if, but when. And then when it happens, people act like that, you know, they didn't have the means to prepare themselves, and then they take it out on other people. So yeah. And I already knew we had like a lot of space shit going on that I'm just like, either we're going to be sucked up by a black hole and asteroids will hit us again. Solar flare pimple will fuck up our entire way of life, or we will probably get flooded again, you know, climate and all that, or freeze, one of the two. God forbid the sun explode. But it'll be instant, at least, right? Would it be instant, Warners? Would we just, before we realize what happened?
It takes about 7 minutes for anything that happens with the sun to get here. Actually, I think it's about 7 minutes for light in general to get here. Is it 3 minutes or 7 minutes?
So you would have about, by the time your brain processed what's going on, it would be too late, basically. Guys, I promise you, I'm not always dark thoughts. I swear.
I'm sorry. Light from the sun takes about, I'm way the fuck off, by the way, 5.5 hours to reach Earth.
So we would have, okay. So we would have 5.5. So you got 5.5 hours. There you go. That's better than, well, no, that's less than the solar flare. Solar flare, they say we'd have 13 hours to prepare. Yeah. But no, it just kind of reminded me of like how, you know, dismissive people are of things that can affect their life. And I was just like, and it fascinated me. So yeah, I came in guns blazing with this one.
Let's take a moment to appreciate real quick. I just, you know, I've been fascinated with this. You know, y'all know I'm fascinated with birds that we should be afraid of.
Not again.
This is a bird. It does not exist anymore.
Oh, thank God.
But it's the largest bird that they believe has ever existed, with up to a 27-foot wingspan.
This motherfucker with birds.
They believe it used to body sharks, apparently.
Well, the sharks are happy it doesn't exist anymore.
Sharks, alligators, they believe it was definitely, you know, all around a predator. You know, some birds eat like, you know, berries and shit, or they're omnivores. This bird strictly ate anything it could get its hands on. 27-foot wingspan, artist interpretation. Its beak had teeth, and it was serrated all the way down. Serrated teeth up and down its beak. Why nature decided to give it a beak and serrated teeth is beyond me, but we all know nature doesn't give a shit when it comes
to... Nature did it, they'll fuck you up.
But I just wanted to share this, you know, something that I was reading about earlier, and I enjoyed it.
I think that's a good place to any, is to haunt people's nightmares with a killer bird. Cool. But yeah, very interesting episode we had this week. So if you guys want more information, or you want to read that article for yourself about the solar flare, once again, it is in the Discord. I will leave a link in the description of the podcast for you guys to join up. Also, if you guys want to know what's going on with the game, the RPG game that that we are creating, I've recently made a channel. It's still in the works. I got to figure out like what kind of updates and posts I want to go make in there. But that channel is there. Just join our Patreon for constant updates. Also, as playable levels of the game come out, Patreons will have first dibs, so they get to play the game all the way up and, before a full demo is released for everybody else. So if RPG games are your thing, make sure to check it out. It's coming together. It is not going to be ready overnight or within the next few months. It is going to be a lengthy process, and it's going to take time and it's going to take resources because it is a small team. Literally, it's a small development team, and there's a lot of stuff that's being learned as we go. So we ask that you be patient with us, partake in the polls we put on Patreon and Discord, cement yourself as having influence on a game, because you never know. Maybe it'll take off when it comes out. And I know personally, being part of gaming history in that regard, like, I helped create that game, is something I still to this day have missed chances on, because I would, by the time I find out about a game, it was already coming out, and it was like, oh, these people helped make the game and blah blah, and I was like, damn, that would be great. So help us out, help support the game, take part in it, be a part of gaming history, and you get to become an NPC in the game. So I would say make sure you don't have your name on Patreon like Snugglebutts or something. Yeah, I'm just saying, some people come up with creative names. Warner says this.
What was the name that I said before that I wanted to be a character?
If it
Marissa
was
Tomei, me and Marissa Tomei.
How would can we even legally put her in the game?
You could change the character.
Like, this one's Marissa and her sister Tomei.
Hold on. Well, what if you create a character called Marissa Toyum? Jeez, she's delicious.
My God, we're done.
And
we're done.
That's where we're gonna end it. You guys have been amazing. Stay safe out there. Hit us up on Patreon. Check out our website and look after each other. We will catch all you amazing people on the next episode. Later, everybody.